All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Black Robe Regiment. I am Matt Tuggle here with my beautiful bride, Lauren Tuggle. We are pastors at Awaken Church SLC in South Jordan. And we also want to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Jordan Valley Construction. Thank you, Kevin and Kathy Smith. You guys are amazing. Yep. If you are listening and you need anything, you reach out to them and they will take care of you. But welcome to the show. It's going to be a good show today, and we have got a hot topic that we want to address and bring a biblical worldview to. So, babe, why don't you kick us off?
All right. Well, the topic of today is actually about abortion. It's about life. This all came about because Melania Trump has been vocal lately. She had it written in her book about her freedom for women and their choice to their body is what they do with their body is their choice. So along the terms of freedom for women. And obviously, as pastors, we want freedom for women as well. But what this law does, and again, like I said, because we're pastors, we see the spirit that's behind it. And there's a spirit where it tries to disguise itself with beautiful terms like freedom and choice. And but what it does is it opens up the doors to have more doctors. There's different abortion clinics that are out there that they will actually be for you getting an abortion. So if I have a daughter, or if you have a friend or a daughter, whatever it may be, they can go in, and there isn't somebody saying, who's for that baby. They're actually more on the side to abort. And so that's what the hot topic is about, is abortion. And along those lines, it's sad and it's a bummer that Melania is talking about that, but want to remind everyone that it was Trump himself who overturned Roe v. Wade. So give it up for President Trump to do something so massive like that. And so what we're doing personally is we are praying that Melania won't be really affecting President Trump with that decision, that he will continue to be bold and strong in his stance and to be firm against abortion. And just to also remind you that if we vote for the other side, if we vote for Kamala and Tim Walz, Tim Walz. If we vote for them, what we're doing is they are the people who are for abortion 9 months. And so they have just widened it up to kill babies. So yes, that is a baby inside the mommy's tummy, inside the womb. And God has a plan no matter how that baby came in. And sometimes it's traumatic ways that a baby can be brought into the world. However, I believe that God still has a plan for that child. And you might be out there and you might have the story that that your parents or however you were conceived was a traumatic experience, but you're here now. And I hope that you are using your voice to say that my life matters, that you are a life that matters to God and are very special to him and in his eyes. So that's the topic for today.
Yeah, and I want to hit on something real quick. When we say the spirit behind something, we want to talk, what we're referring to is that there is a spirit world. There is good and there is bad. There is a God who is love and is trying to get us to operate in the original design and intent, so that blessing and original life is a gift. Life is a gift, and every life is precious. And so when we talk about a spirit, listen, nothing's new under the sun, Ecclesiastes says. And you got to understand that the same arguments that are happening today were happening 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. In fact, the whole story, you'll hear about Jezebel and King Ahab, one of the worst kings in Israel's history. Child sacrifice was one of the pivotal things that they were arguing about. People used to sacrifice babies in order to get a
Have
better,
prosperity.
easier, have prosperity, have a better life. The same arguments exist today.
Ugh,
And so,
sad.
and I want to bring this up because here's the deal. When you argue that life is important, people will bring up the outliers. Less than 1% of all abortions are due to these traumatic, horrible experiences. And although I still think even those children have value and deserve a shot at life.
It wasn't their fault.
It wasn't their fault. And we believe that. Here's the deal. If you ask somebody who is really passionate about abortion and you say, all right, let's take your 1% outliers. Would you agree that we shouldn't allow abortion on demand just because it's more convenient? And they won't agree with you. They won't.
And our God is a God of restoration.
Yeah. And like I said,
Anything
I'm
he
not
can turn
arguing.
around.
I am not arguing that that's even a valid argument, but I just love to see people, they use this excuse of these outliers. And then when you say, all right, let's say that we say that's an allowed reason, let's get rid of all the rest. They will not agree with you. Try it. I guarantee it. Because there's a spirit behind it. The devil, let me explain something at the very foundation. The devil hates God. He cannot hurt God. And so he hurts the thing most precious to God, which is people. Yeah. And he goes after the innocent. He is not this isn't a football game where there's referees. He doesn't play by the rules. He kicks the most down. He will attack innocents. And look at the spirit here. Let me go a little further. If he can't get them in the womb, the next thing he's going for, this is why the agenda is also evil, is he will try to pervert your kids. He will try to do trans story hour and tell them that they weren't made male or female. Devalue the born
if he can't
identity
take your life away, then he's going to take your identity away. And so that's what he's trying to do with all of that.
He'll want you to mutilate your body. So there's a spirit behind it, and you will see it when you confront it. These people are almost religious about it. They're like, it is a cult, if you will. And so going back to the Melania thing, yes, we will tell you, Melania, we disagree with your stance. And there are even times where I have felt Trump and Vance were, we had the vice president debate, they were soft on this. However, until Jesus is on the ballot, we've got to pick the lesser of two evils always. And as Lauren said, you got one party that wants abortion to be not just accessible. They say they want it to be preferable. They want it to be the first thing you go to. And then you've got another party who's saying, hey, we still have some value to life. And there are some really good
and again,
conservatives
he's the
fighting for that.
president who overturned Roe v. Wade.
He is.
He actually did it. And
you
all
say,
of the backlash that he gets from it, he knows what he's going to get from overturning something like that. But he did it. And in 2016, that's when he declared, no, I'm going to put the right people in place that are going to overturn this. And he did it. And so actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely. And on that topic, look, we live in a state that has dismal voting in Utah for Trump because for some reason we think, well, he's kind of mean on Twitter, so we'll vote for the person who wants to kill babies. That's not going to fly when we give an account of that. There's a priority. Oh, he was mean. Okay, fine. Whatever. You can say that all you want. Did we promote life? Did we fight for life? And I love what you said, Lauren, is that it's the language that they use that makes it sound appetizing.
Yeah.
They don't call it, we're pro-murder. They're not going to call it that. We're pro-choice. We're pro-freedom. We don't call it abortion. We call it women's health care. All right? Well, we're all for all those things in theory. We're not for your definition. Can you actually go in?
I know this is, we're usually unscripted, honestly, on this, but even more unscripted. Can you go into the choice, my choice? You were telling me the other day about
okay. Get ready for
revelation.
Get ready for this. Okay. So when Jesus did his final dinner with his disciples, his exact words were, this is my body broken for you. So Jesus gives away his body to bless other people on that cross. The exact same slogan, my body, this is my body, is the the Planned Parenthood, pro-abortion. There's the spirit behind it. It mocks God. Another example, The rainbow was God's sign when the flood to eliminate the wickedness in the world and start over because people were so off their rocker. But God gave that rainbow to say, never again will I choose this path. Yeah. It's a promise to. And hope. So what did the LGBTQ clan, gang, mafia pick? A rainbow. They used the symbol that where God said, I will withhold my judgment on wickedness, and they taunt. And so just understand, if you'll look underneath the surface, there's a spiritual war going on. And why we are here today, because the church needs to stand in its post and stand up for righteousness and goodness. Listen, even if somebody's agnostic, they're atheist. In fact, I just saw recently, I don't know if it's a new interview, but they were interviewing Richard Dawkins, who is the probably the most prominent voice for atheists today. Wrote the book God Delusion, which I have read. And I'll just tell you,
basically the atheist Bible.
Yeah, the description of origin of life. The description of origin of life is so much harder to believe than there being a creator. But not the point. What I am saying is Richard Dawkins acknowledged that he's thankful to live in a Judeo-Christian. He would say he values cultural Christianity because of the benefit it brings to culture. So even he acknowledges that when people apply these principles, life is better. And so we don't apologize for wanting this is the Black Robe Regiment. We are fighting for godly principles to be in government because they bless the people, Proverbs says.
Biblical principles.
So that's a rant. There are spirits behind it. We want to keep on the topic here of abortion. And
but just to go back, I thought that was so powerful that one of the only times, would you say, is in the Bible where it says my body, it refers to the act of Jesus breaking his body for you and I.
For other people.
Sacrificing his body. And so to use the term, my body, my choice, they're trying to say, no, I'm going to choose not to sacrifice my body. This is a very inconvenient time in my life in order to have a kid and to raise this baby. But it is a smack in God's face for them to promote that. So his body was broken for you and I. And so the most opposite of God.
Yep. And this is a real thing. Like, I literally 2 weeks ago at our church had a young lady who came up to me and said, hey, I am the product of one of those horrific rape, incest type of situations. I'm the product of that. I was conceived in that.
Beautiful person.
Loving.
If we did not have her in our life, oh my gosh, our life would be so empty. Not only for us, but for our church, for people who know her. She's the most loving, giving person that I've ever met, the most encouraging person. So to imagine all of the babies that are getting a
canceled life, not an opportunity, and look, like, props to that mom. Obviously, in those outlier situations, it's a horrific thing. And by the way, we are very pro massive, punishment for people that violate and take advantage. Like, I'm all for, like, let's bring back castration, man. If you're gonna do that, like, we're more than happy to make sure you can't do that. So understand, we don't make light of horrific, but we do still stand on that life is valuable.
Yeah.
And
that's really the topic that we wanted to talk about today, is how life is valuable and where life actually starts.
Yes.
And I wanted to, bring up our story. Mm-hmm. So our story, so we have 3 amazing, handsome, athletic boys.
Studs.
They're studs.
Pure beef.
And so our personal story is, I'm a mother of 8. But we only have three children that are here on earth with us. The other 5 are in heaven waiting for us. And I 100% believe that. So our journey is actually through miscarriages. And it started right when we decided to start having kids. It was about 5 years after we were married. We were starting to try for a baby. And the first time I got pregnant, I remember it was Mother's Day, and I called my parents to tell them the exciting news that
we found out on
goodness,
Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day. I'm going to be a mother for the first time. And so it was a huge celebration. And weeks went by, and sadly, I experienced the first miscarriage, the first loss, the first grief after that baby. And it was quickly after that, I actually got pregnant again. And I remember it was Father's Day that same year. So it happened quickly. So Father's Day came around, and again called my parents, and we got to share with them the joy of me being pregnant and on Father's Day. And then again, weeks went by, and another loss, grieving, miscarriage happened. So we realized at that point from the beginning that life is a spiritual battle. For all of you listening, you are a life here. You are a blessed life from God, that you are here, you're alive and well. And, but it's a spiritual battle. So we learned at that moment that, how to pray and contend and intercede for a baby. So it went on. So we have our firstborn son, Levi. We have our second-born, Asher, right away. And so everything's going really well. But I had Christmas is my time of year to always just picture and imagine, is my family complete? You know, like, do we have a complete family? When you all get together around the Christmas tree, when that year comes around, is our family complete? And we're asking ourselves that question. And we, felt this unsettlement inside of us. And we're like, you know what? We need to go again. We need to try again for a third. And even though our boys can, get dressed by themselves, it's the easy life.
Life was easy. No more diapers.
No more. It's all good. They can feed themselves, all the things. We decided to go again. And that decision in itself is hard to make, but we decided to. And then we ran across the same situation of miscarriages. And so I got pregnant, and it came to be a miscarriage. I think that was on Easter. I had one on Easter, and I had one in October of 2022 that became a miscarriage. And the last miscarriage I had, I started to miscarry on my birthday. And just such an attack, such a loss, such a heartbreak to grieve the losses of every single baby. So all of those babies are in heaven. But it brings to the point, and finally we got our third, Judah. And I like to tell people this, we're actually not Jewish, even though we have Jewish names. And we're not going to start the entire tribe of Israel all over again. That is our theme.
9 more to go.
No, our theme is about the whole tribe, and we're good with just the 3. We're awesome with that. Anyway, but just the whole fight around life. And I learned 2 things in that. I learned the importance of grieving. And I also learned the importance of how to fight, how to pray, knowing that it is a spiritual battle. It's not just a physical battle; it's a spiritual battle. And it, I got bombarded with the term chemical pregnancy. And for those of you watching, I'm sure if you've had a miscarriage before, if it's early on, they'll say that it's a chemical pregnancy. And I bring that up to say, be really mindful of the terms that people are starting to use. So it's a term that actually came about. I researched this term because I hated it so much. When I heard the term chemical pregnancy, it right away devalued life. To me, in my opinion, you're going through the loss. Your body knows as a woman that you're carrying a baby. Things start to change. You know what you're carrying inside. It's life. And for someone to say chemical pregnancy, it's another smack in the face that it wasn't a true life, is how it comes across.
Yep. It's just another gradual slide towards devaluation of life.
100%. And so for me, looking that term up, it comes from biochemical pregnancy, and that came about in 1973.
What else came about in 1973?
That is when Roe v. Wade came and actually made the law that abortion can happen, a law for abortion. So that's where that term came about. So if you're able to use some terms, especially early on in pregnancy, that diminish life, devalue that, for you to then take a pill, an abortion pill, they'll serve you on a platter things that say it's all good. You weren't actually carrying a fetus. They don't call it a fetus. They don't call the baby. Any of that at the beginning. So they try to use all these terms to diminish so that abortion is, not a thing. They try to numb you to the celebration and the beauty of life. So they'll put in the abortion pill, and they'll say up to 10 weeks or so is then when you'll have a fetus. And so watch out for those terms. Again, it is an ugly spirit that comes against women and children.
Yes. I mean, yeah. So the value of life is what we're trying to bring up, in that, as Lauren said, they'll call it a cluster of cells. And if you have a chemical pregnancy, we'll just take this chemical to stop the chemical pregnancy. You see how they all flow together. First I want to read the Bible on this, because this is where we get this from the Bible.
Because it's a fight right now of origin. So where does life begin? And that's where we're starting to see the fight. And that's where, again, abortion is creeping in, having its way, saying, well, life doesn't actually exist until outside of the womb. But let's see what God says about this topic.
Just real quick on that, though, isn't it? I love people like, trust the science. Scientists say this. Well, here's the deal. I've looked, and scientists have told me that if we find even a one-cell bacteria on Mars, we will say there was life on Mars. And yet we can have a fully functional growing baby in a womb, and that's not life. Do you understand where there's agendas behind it? We've got to stand up and
again,
say, don't tell me it's not life.
Very clear. Don't fear men, fear God.
Yep.
Fear God, not men.
Yes. All right. So Psalms 130, I know you have a verse too, but I want to read Psalms 139. I'm reading 12 for a reason, but 13 is the main one, okay? Indeed, the darkness shall not hide from you, but the night shines as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. David's talking about God. For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Amen. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. Our souls know that a pregnancy is a life. We know that. We have to change language. We have to fight. We know that. We know that. Here's the very fascinating thing. In 2016, the year that Trump got elected, the year that the beginning of Roe v. Wade being turned down, they made this fascinating discovery where they were able to zoom in on an unfertilized egg at the moment that the sperm penetrates the membrane and life begins. Yeah. It gets fertilized. There is this, you can look this up, a flash of light in the womb, literally a flash of light light happens right there. It's talking about we're fearfully and wonderfully made in our mother's womb. The verse before that, David is talking about even in the darkness, God brings life. It is no difference to him. There is, and they found this, just the timing, chemical chemical pregnancy comes out the same year abortion, they find that there's this flash of life and light that literally ignites when there's zinc. A fertilization.
They said what it is zinc, and so it sparks. So I like to say when sparks fly in the bedroom and when you conceive a baby, sparks fly, and it's actually the spark, the light of God. I want to read John 1.
Do it.
John chapter 1, verse 1, it says, "In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. He existed in the beginning with God. God created everything through him, and nothing was created except through him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and his life brought light to everyone." So the Word is Jesus. So that it's saying that from the beginning, when life was brought in, light was brought to everyone. So Jesus was right there with you. God was right there with you at the beginning when you were conceived. And how beautiful is that? That from the beginning, from the moment, from the very beginning of you coming into existence, that he was with you. And so that is biblical. If you want to know what God thinks about when life begins, it's right when the baby is conceived.
Exactly. And I want to bring this up now because we're in election season right now. We've got a month here. And there's a lot of conversation around people that are conservative here in Utah that won't vote for Trump. I believe Governor Cox said he's not going to. And I just want to point out that as a believer in Jesus, our eternity is secure because of what he did, paid the price for mine and your sin. But the Bible does say in 2 Corinthians 5 that even as believers, there will be a time where we sit before Jesus and are judged for what we did here on earth, for reward for the good things. And the Bible says that everything that was not of God will be burned away. This isn't a salvation judgment. This is just a judgment on how well did you follow and walk with the Lord. And all that to be said, that this will be on the agenda of if you knew that one side was going to be more for me and one would be against my ways and one would be for valuing life and one would be not, there will be an accounting for that. And I promise you're not going to be able to say, well, I thought he was kind of mean to people on Twitter or X, whatever you want to say. There's a clear differentiator here. And so I really want to put that in our head that we need to be active. We need to vote for God's ways. We need to promote God's ways in government, in education, in every area. That's what this show's about, is that we know people are blessed when we do it. And so search your soul. If you were thinking, well, I'm just not going to vote. Well, you not voting does give an advantage for the other side, which will promote more evil and more wickedness on many fronts, but we're talking just on abortion. You will help the other side. And that will be something we got to answer for. So don't be one of those people who says, oh, he's not a great guy. He's not moral. He's not Jesus. Of course he's not. But Roe v. Wade got canceled because of the work he did in office. So stop it. And if you hear friends say that, call them out. Call them out. You are making a massive error if you choose not to vote because one person is not as perfect as you'd like or as nice, when clearly the other side will push agendas that are not what God wants and are not God's ways. So I'm just hitting this hard. I'm not trying to be cruel to anyone. I understand that you morally are trying to figure this out. So let me bring biblical moral clarity. Do the best you have. The best option is still an option between the two. So do the right thing.
Yeah. And I keep feeling this. Fear God, don't fear men. I know that, Trump isn't perfect. However, we continue to pray and we continue to fight for what's right. We continue to see progress. Trump has brought progress, tremendous progress in this area. And so let's continue to fight for that.
Come on. Life's important.
Yes.
God cares about life.
Important right at the beginning is when he created you. He thought of you right at the beginning. And so you are special. You are loved. I know for me, because our story is about miscarriage, when we were able to, have our baby full term, we feel incredibly blessed with every single baby. And God will give you the grace to have that baby. I mean, if your life is, feel like you're out of whack, I don't have the financial provision, I don't have this or that. Again, that's why we say put your trust in God. God will give you the grace. He will give you the finances. He'll give you the provision. He'll put the right people into your world. What community do you surround yourself with? Do you surround yourself with a community that, wants to diminish the life that you're bringing into this world? Get out of that community and go find people who are for you and for just this, you bringing about this amazing, beautiful life into the world that has purpose. So God bless you all. Happy Sunday. Have a great week. And we love you. God bless.
Yes, God bless you. I want to also throw out one other thing for all the people who are faced with this tough decision. Remember, too, there are great people. We know a couple right now that wants a baby, wants to adopt a baby, and they've already adopted one and they want to adopt another, and they are beautiful parents.
Yeah. We know multiple families.
We know multiple families. Yeah. And they're everywhere. And so if you'll choose to say, God, I want to do what's right, even though I'm in this situation that's hard, God will find a way to bless you. You have to believe that. He will bless you for doing the right thing. That whatever circumstance got you to that place, he'll bless you. So we just wanted to mention that. And that's a wrap for the show today. We thank you for joining us.
If you want to join us, we're starting to pray over our country every single Wednesday night, starting at 6 p.m. So
at our church.
You can find at awaken.slc is the Instagram handle.
Yep. And don't forget to check out everything we got going on at wearethepeople.org.
Yep.
And happy Sunday. Love you. Be fruitful, multiply, love on people. Let's vote. Have a great Sunday.